Are we heading to a housing bubble apocalypse this 2023? Well, anyone who has purchased a home in the past 15 years, or even just considered doing so, is likely to recall the disastrous consequences of the housing bubble crash and subsequent foreclosure crisis that served as the catalyst for 2009's Great Recession. More than 6 million homeowners lost their homes due to mortgage defaults, increasing the market supply at a time when demand was being negatively impacted by unemployment. And I know you're concerned that we might be in another housing bubble and that another crash is imminent. But today I'm going to tell you one by one why we're not in a housing bubble. Well, let's talk about mortgage lending requirements that have significantly toughened, which is one factor. And that can be contributed to the previous bubble and subsequent crash, which mortgage lenders granting questionable loans to people who should not have received them. It's safe to conclude that lenders have learned from the 2008 recession because they are no longer making rash loan decisions nowadays. And it's more difficult to get pre-qualified for a mortgage or accepted after you're choosing a home. Not just that, adjustable rate loans are also one of the most common ways to enter the housing bubble. When the interest rates on these mortgages inevitably rise, people are forced to pay a much higher mortgage than they anticipated. We're seeing this in the commercial sector. However, only 0.1% of mortgages are currently adjustable compared to over 50% in 2008. In today's market, lenders go to great lengths to ensure that buyers are eligible for a mortgage, checking your earnings, occupation, and bank account, among other things. You should have a credit score of at least 720 and a debt-to-income ratio of 36% to make any mortgage loans. That is a clear indication that the present situation differs from the housing bubble that caused the Great Recession back in 2008. Low foreclosures and a strong job market is another thing to look at. Foreclosure rates are still low, which is a sign that people can still afford their mortgages and are continuing to pay them. Furthermore, the job market remains strong, which means that the majority of people are employed and have money coming in to pay their mortgages. People who are not working are choosing not to work. The other is low borrowing and speculation, which a number of these factors provide compelling evidence that the current housing market is not in a bubble. Strong economic fundamentals, to be specific, a housing bubble develops when there's a rapid, unsustainable increase in home prices, which is fueled by speculation and unsustainable levels of borrowing. This is no longer the case, and as the economy is thriving and what I've said earlier, unemployment is low. Housing is in short supply, which is another factor, and I can attest to this because I sell a lot of flips that are selling 50 to 100,000 over. And even though the real estate market has stalled due to high inflation and interest rates, housing prices remain stubbornly high. But these prices truly reflect the availability of housing in the open market. There simply isn't enough inventory for everyone who wants to buy a home, and this is what's driving up prices. And again, this is exactly the case in New Jersey. Homes are priced for about their true market value, and when the value reverts to what the market can bear, a crash occurs. In this case, if we break out the inflationary cycle and interest rates fall, housing prices are much more likely to rise than fall, at least till the new construction can catch up with demand also at some point. Increased cash buyers is another one. Well, when people can afford to buy houses with cash, it usually indicates that the market is in good shape. The rate of cash buyers is at its highest in years, and at 30% indicating that we are not experiencing the difficulties experienced during the Great Recession. Market conditions differ significantly as well. Because this market is fundamentally very different from when it was in 07 and 08, the Great Recession, we are not approaching a bubble. To cause an apocalypse, there would need to be an unexpected influx of supply or a sharp drop in consumer demand. We would need some unanticipated seismic event for the market to crash and drop 25 to 30%. The market is unaffected despite the recent pandemic and the ongoing conflict that is challenging the supply chain. Despite the problems with affordability, there is still significantly more buyers than sellers. With all of this being said, we will most likely see a small price correction in the coming months as sellers adjust to the current lower levels of demand. This type of market is likely to persist until interest rates increase and begin to slow or reverse, which seems to be starting to happen. You'll know this happen if you watch my previous videos. And rates will stabilize. The discouraged would-be buyers will regain their confidence, and we will likely see another wave of buyers flood the market, tilting the supply-demand equation back in favor of sellers. And guys, you know I work really hard on all my videos to bring you the up-to-date on what's going on, and I've been digging and working really hard, and if you could give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you got any questions, please write down in the comments below and give me a subscribe if you can. And again, once again, I will see you in the next video.